You know, I love Naruto and all its little quirks, but the thing that I've never gotten to this day is how they just pop eyeballs out like light bulbs and just screw them back in. Like, does anyone else get confused by that, or is that just me? Before we hop into this ranking of the 3 great Dojutsu, please do me a favor and leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and here we are to rank the 3 great Dojutsu from Naruto. Now, here's the thing. I would do all the Dojutsu, like all the eye abilities. However, not a lot of them get that much screen time. One of the 3 great Dojutsu itself doesn't get that much screen time. So I'm simply going to be addressing my top 3 and their little evolution. So the Byakugan and the Tenseigan are being one part. The Sharingan and the Mangekyo Sharingan / internal Mangekyo Sharingan are going to be in one part. And the Rinnegan and the Rinne Sharingan are going to be in one part. Every single one of those things, they're going to be clumped together. Mainly because, while I could break them down individually, I'll admit some of them on their own don't necessarily have enough to talk about for me to go in depth on each individual one and each individual stage. So I'm going to clump them all together. Going to rank all 3 of them because I do like all 3 of them, but one ranks higher than another and another one ranks higher than another. So let's hop right on into it with number 3. Alright, so I love the Byakugan in concept. However, in execution, it's one of the most uselessly cool powers that I've ever seen. Here's the thing, 360-degree vision, neat. Seeing chakra networks, neater. Giving access to the gentle fish, even more. A gentle fish? What? Gentle fist, even neater. But what I'm saying is, it has such a cool concept, and I like the idea that the Hyuga are basically supposed to be like the anti-meta to the Naruto world. Like, everyone needs to use chakra. However, if you use chakra, guess what? If a Hyuga gets their hands on you, well, you don't have any hands anymore because you're getting shut down unless you're a Jinchuriki who happens to have an entire backup store of chakra that can just revitalize your system out of nowhere because main character powers. So I like it. However, due to main character powers and due to the fact that the Hyuga just typically aren't that strong or that relevant to the narrative as a whole, we never get to see it used in an interesting enough way. Same thing with the Tenseigan. Both of these concepts are cool. I like how the Tenseigan is basically just a super Byakugan with some Rinnegan abilities with how it can control gravitational pulls and gives you access to this super powerful Tenseigan mode. It does so much interesting stuff, but it's still kind of lacking because the thing is, it's not used enough. And and for the Tenseigan's case, it gets bodied by Naruto. Like, absolutely bodied by Naruto. Like, literally almost in the same way that Neji got bodied by Naruto. It took one punch, and suddenly the Tenseigan user was just done. Toneri got bopped. Neji, the strongest Hyuga clan member that we had seen up to that point, got bopped by Naruto in one hit. Like, the Byakugan, so much potential, so much interesting story potential, and how it could rival the Sharingan, and how it was initially stronger than the Sharingan, and how it could have this great interplay. We could see Neji and Sasuke grow against one another, and we could see both of their eyes undergo evolution, like all this interesting possible stuff that could have happened, but it just didn't, because Kishimoto just didn't care enough. Neji wasn't the main character, neither was Hinata, so they didn't get the prevalence needed for their eyes to actually do things. And honestly, that's kind of sad, because once again, the Hyuga were the anti-meta to the entire Naruto world. That's interesting stuff right there. That's the bomb diggity, but we didn't get any of it. And that's what messes with me the most. Like, if we had more Byakugan, more great stuff with it, then maybe I could be like, yeah, maybe it could slide a little bit higher, because the 360-degree vision is cool. The gentle fist is cool. However, it doesn't have enough application, it doesn't have enough usage, it doesn't have enough presence for me to be like, yeah, that's better than everything else. No, it's kind of bottom tier. And that's only for the fact that it just does so little, and every time it does anything, it usually gets negated. That's the thing. The thing about the gentle fist is that it never usually lasts or works very long. So, I don't know. Byakugan saddens me. I wish we got more out of it. And maybe, no, we're not even going to get it. Like, as if Himawari is going to actually have potential to be a serious character with the Byakugan. Because she has the strength to do it in Boruto, as far as I can tell. I know she has it now. So, if she could do something with it, great. I hope she does. However, likelihood, since she's not the main character, highly low. I wish Boruto had gotten the Byakugan instead of this Jogan nonsense, but it's whatever. I'll take what I can get when it comes to these magical eyes. It's the least that Kishimoto can do, I guess. But let's move on from the Byakugan to number 2. Alright, so here's the thing about the Rinnegan. Like, it is so cool. It is so cool. But it also feeds into my main issue with the end of Naruto. because it's just like once the Rinnegan sort of becomes the new Sharingan, whereas in everybody and their uncle has it, it's kind of sad. Like it loses a lot of value because the main reason I like the Rinnegan so much is obviously because of Pain. The entire thing with Nagato and Pain wielding the Rinnegan, wielding these eyes of rebirth or destruction, it's such great stuff to it. It has so much hype behind it because the Pains and Nagato himself are considered like monsters because of these eyes that control life and death, these eyes that can summon beasts of great size and power, these eyes that can just absorb chakra and negate all of it, these eyes that can do so much, literally manipulate the body into weaponry, these eyes that control gravitational forces, these eyes that can literally tear out people's souls, these eyes that do pretty much everything, and they have such presence to them at first, and then that's about it. The thing is, they just fade into the background because the eyes become sort of standard. Like if you're a Sharingan user without a Rinnegan, unless you're Obito, you kind of fodder. What can I say? Unless you got them Kamui eyes, you're kind of lacking. And they lose a lot of their mystique and presence once certain characters start getting them. Like I'll admit, when Madara whipped out the Rinnegan, that was like, hey yo, huh? Because it was still like legitimately terrifying. But Obito had it, and the most he did was the 6 paths, but he didn't even use any of the abilities, so it was really just a cool aesthetic design that he had that allowed him to control the tailed beast. That's alright, but I wish it could be better. When Madara got his back, it was cool seeing his Limbo clones, but that's about it. Like, the Limbo clone was the only cool thing that came out of it. And he used the Preta path to absorb Hashirama's chakra. That's about it. Like, all the cool powers of the Rinnegan, from the manipulation of life and death, the summoning of the King of the Underworld, all this cool stuff sort of got thrown away because now that it wasn't the main focus, now that all this new endgame stuff was the new focus, the Rinnegan sort of lost a lot of its presence. And another thing I'll have to admit, the Rinnegan as a story function, or as a story and character function, is done no better by anyone than Pain and Nagato. Like, as much as I love Madara, he doesn't necessarily use the Rinnegan that interesting for a story purpose. It was literally just a tool. It was a means to an end. While you could also argue that Pain's Rinnegan was a means to an end. I know it was Madara's, but you know what I mean. Pain's Rinnegan, when he was using it, while you could also argue it was a means to an end, it was like the entire means to the end. The Rinnegan was just a stepping stone for Madara. It wasn't his main end goal. It wasn't the thing that fueled all his desires. Like, it was literally just, okay, I need to get to the Sage of 6 Paths level. I guess I need the Rinnegan, and then he just moved on from there. And of course, Obito never used it, and while Kaguya had the Rinne Sharingan, and Sasuke also got a Sharingan, he got a Rinne Sharingan, well, just a Rinnegan with Tomoe. They both had them. Once again, it does little to further them outside of just being more power-ups. And once again, Sasuke just doesn't really use it, except for when he uses the Preta path, once again, to absorb the tailed beast. And I think that's alright, but the cool functions of the Rinnegan sort of just got lost because they kind of got power crept, I'm not gonna lie. So all the interesting facets of the Rinnegan sort of died with Nagato, and it sort of just became a cool looking power-up that doesn't necessarily feed in any more character functions anymore. And it's kind of sad, because I really like the Rinnegan. I like his design. Honestly, out of the base designs, it's my favorite. There's something very ominous about the swirling eyes. I don't know, the swirling purple eyes just look really cool to me. Even more cool than the base Sharingan, I'll admit, and definitely cooler than the Hyuga eyes. But the thing is, I don't know, it lost so much luster by the end of the series that I can't give it the top spot, no matter how cool I think it looks, and no matter how cool I think the powers are. Because, number one, it just has it beat. Alright, don't get mad at me. Just don't. I know. It's basic, it's simple, it's dumb. Like, I love the Sharingan, alright? It's so cool. And here's the thing. When I talk about the Sharingan, I'm talking about the Sharingan, the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And here's the thing. The Sharingan, the reason I love it so much is, one, because it's a cool bloody red eye that has Tomoe in it. It just looks cool to me. What can I say? It looks like a fire design, and it's used well. All the Mangekyo Sharingan designs, I pretty much enjoy all of them, some more than others. Like, honestly, I'd say probably the Kamui design is my favorite, because it's, at the same time, super complex, yet at the same time super simple. Like, it has this nice balance between the more complex design of something like Sasuke's EMS, which is really just dummy complicated, and I understand why it's not fully drawn all the time, because it's literally insane to design. But it's also not as simple as like Itachi's, which is literally just a little swirl. So I like it. I like the design. I think the design's fantastic. 2, I think the Sharingan does the most for the story. Like, literally the most. Like, it literally backpacks the darn narrative, like, the entire time. Because Kakashi with the Sharingan, how it affects his life, it's great. Obito, how he became more powerful with the Sharingan and how much it cost him and what made him give up his Sharingan to Kakashi. Great. Sasuke's entire life is revolved around the Sharingan, because this is his tool to defeating Itachi, because it signifies the growth of his hatred and power. And I like that. The idea that Itachi was forced to kill his entire clan because of this cursed eye. I love it. All these different ways that the Sharingan ties into the narrative is what makes me like it so much, because it feeds so well into the idea that the Sharingan, as powerful as it is, as amazing as it is, all these abilities that come with it, all these powers come with a cost, and these costs usually tie into the characters themselves. Every single power of a Sharingan user got, it came with a new level of pain, a new level of suffering, a new level of character growth and evolution, and I like that. The Sharingan is the most well-built tool to show character progression or regression. Sasuke's growth into the EMS and the MS in general, you can see how it all comes together, how the deeper and darker he goes, the more powerful he becomes, but it comes at the cost of Sasuke's humanity. It's beautiful, the way that the bloody red eyes are what cut through the entire Uchiha clan. It's beautiful, the way that Madara gained his Sharingan through the betrayal and loss of his friend Hashirama. It's beautiful, all this good meaty character growth, and don't even get me started on the MS abilities. I love how they're all specialized. I know, the Rinnegan has specialized abilities too, but it don't do it like the Mangekyo Sharingan does. What can I say? Because the Mangekyo Sharingan abilities, they're also good with how they tie into the character. Itachi, the black flame that burns away everything, and the Tsukuyomi, the ultimate lie, which is what Itachi really is. Sasuke, the dark flame that burns away everything, but with the element of control that he needs to learn himself, because he is the one who guides the future of the Uchiha by being the last one. Obito, the boy who faded into the background, having the Kamui that allows him to fade away, while Kakashi, the man who consumes all with that eye of his that's not his own, ends up taking things away from a distance. It's beautiful. Madara, we never got his ability, which annoys me to this day, but it's still fire, alright? The Mangekyo Sharingan works so well because it ties into the characters even more, signifies further growth, everything. I like it a lot. So it does good. That's the thing. The Sharingan does so much for both the characters, the fights, everything in Naruto. As crazy as it gets towards the end of the series, you know, being the key to everything really. Like, if you don't got a Sharingan by the end of the series, you're kind of fodder. And I know Sakura's there, but you're still kind of fodder. So I understand where people have a problem with it. However, for what it does for our characters, what it does for the world itself, what everything the Sharingan does for everything in Naruto, I will give it a pass, and it's easily my number one. Like, by a decent bit. Like, I could argue for the Rinnegan, but it wouldn't be as easy to argue in comparison for the Sharingan. So yeah, there's my top 3. Tell me what your guys' top 3 is in the comment section down below. If you guys think I should have done the rest of the Dojutsu, which one of those is your favorite? I would actually like to hear it. Mainly because the only one I had any remote interest in was the Ketsuryugan. But, I don't know. Even then, it kind of seemed very simple. And they seemed like natural prey to the Uchiha, who had the Sharingan, the better Dojutsu. What can I say? But that's it. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.